Надя, это Аня, и каждый понедельник мы рассказываем про Шотландию.
И каждый день мы публикуем что-нибудь о Шотландии в Инстаграм.
Сегодня мы с Аней находимся в холле Университета, в одном из кампусов. Мы пришли сюда для того, чтобы взять интервью у сотрудника этого университета. Его зовут Сэм, и он занимается подбором персонала.
Да, и он как раз ищет людей, чтобы самых талантливых людей города Эдинбурга и его окрестностей, лондонских окрестностей, чтобы нанять их в университет. Sam, once again, thank you so much for agreeing to meet us and to tell us some insights about HR management. And Sam is a HR talent and recruitment consultant. Yeah? Right. So I just wanted to ask you whether you wanted to work as a HR manager all the time, or it just happened?
I would say it just happened. I went to university, I studied business and management. I did a bachelor's and then I did a master's in business.
In Edinburgh?
No, I did it near London,
okay.
In Kingston, which was Greater London. And then I studied there I did like a 4-year bachelor's with a 1-year placement. And then I did a master's in business and management. I think when I graduated, I knew, I had like an idea of the sort of careers I wanted, but I wasn't really like, I didn't have a career in mind. Mm-hmm. So when you do business and management, it's a bit of marketing, a bit of operations, a bit of HR, as opposed to a specialization in a field. So when I graduated, I had the option to apply for grad schemes. But then I had to decide what area I wanted to specialize in. Had I probably thought on those terms before, I probably would have done a sort of a different course. Mm-hmm. But at that time, the course was good and I didn't really have an idea of the specialization. So I studied business management. And when I graduated, I got a job. I graduated also in 2008 in the middle of the credit crunch. So it was a difficult time in terms of the number of jobs which were available for graduates. So I got a role with a company called Heineken, with beer, and they are the second largest beer company in the UK. So I got a job with them and I was working in their sort of training department. I did it for a year and then I got an opportunity to work in recruitment and I did that for a year. I think when I did it for a year, the recruitment assignment, that is when really it sort of, I think it was clear to me that that's the area I really enjoy. So I think unless you do something and you get the experience, sometimes you don't know that you're going to enjoy that.
Is there any difference between working in industry and working in academia recruitment area? So like as an HR person, do you see like I don't know, starting with candidates and the whole process, is it different from industry and academia?
So yeah, there are some differences. The industry, the private sector and the public sector, there are differences. They're not so. Public sector is more, I guess, they're not so commercially aggressive because it is a different industry. It's a different product. Yeah, so I think with that, you have a set of different challenges. I think where it's similar is the role I do. It's apart from you learn about the industry fairly quickly. A lot of people think, oh, it's a different industry, or how I'm going to do. Actually, as long as you have transferable skills, you can learn about the industry fairly quickly. You have to have a passion for me. I mean, I had a passion for education. That's why I wanted to apply to university. So yeah, there are differences in terms of culture, in terms of the way you do things to achieve something. Yes, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah. And you mentioned that like back in time you would have choose probably another subject career, not project management. So would you choose HR straight away?
It's a good question. The reason I said that is because, so I think for universities it is pretty common for people when they graduate not to know exactly what they want to do, and a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't, and I think it's fine because sometimes you don't really know exactly when you come out, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be an engineer, or I want to do this. If some people have it, great. So I think, but I think what I would I can only speak for myself. Do I enjoy numbers? Do I enjoy careers where there is interaction with people? I like careers where there's a lot of interaction with people. So that's what it was for me. I was a people person. So I knew like I had a general affinity to human resource management. But if I look back, I would have done certain things differently. So for example, if at that time I had done more research about HRM, I would have known that, I should have known rather, that if I want to embark a career in HR, there is a qualification called CIPD, which is an HR qualification. And that's very important to have. There's a lot more credibility which comes with that qualification when you apply for jobs. And there are certain universities in the UK where you can do a course in HRM and get CIPD qualification. And that helps in the job market. So thinking few years ahead, thinking in advance about those sort of things. And even if you don't, you don't have to be fixated with a line, but even if you know, like, okay, I've got 2-3 areas which are appealing to me, it's then doing research about, okay, so if I want to get into, for example, marketing, let's look at some profiles online. What do they look for in candidates? Fresh graduates, but still, what do they look for? So I think those things are important.
Already answered it because you thought like have a look at what employers are looking for, and so what else, like in terms of CV, for example? Do you remember your first CV?
Yes, I think for me, so every country works differently. I think in the UK, every university has a career service, and a lot of people don't make most of it. So I think that proactivity is good. When you have the free resource, why not use it? And actually in UK universities, most websites are open to public, so that tells you what you need to know if you want to apply for graduate scheme. A lot of people have done these things, but when you have to put those in 400-500 words in application form, then construct a good CV, you need those sort of to have a look at what's a good way to construct the answers, what's a good way to write CVs, templates, and all those sort of things. So those sort of things I would say for the student to look at, to make the most of the current resource they have in university, which is free. So go to a careers advisor, book a session, ask them, show them a draft CV, or ask them, ask them for advice, looking at different university websites. So for example, university websites will tell you to apply for jobs, graduate schemes, here are the 3 best websites. So knowing that, then going on the website and seeing, okay, what are the 100 best graduate schemes, and then going further, saying, okay, actually, these are the companies I would love to work for. What do they want? What to look for? Looking at application forms, so sort of doing it before. Because on the other hand, when you're so busy in university, because in the UK, when you graduate, I think a lot of people want to work straight away, but you have to start applying for jobs 8 months before. And when you 8 months before, 8 months before, because graduate schemes here start. They have different intakes. So say for example you graduate in summer, by December start on the grad schemes.
So if you need to apply for a graduate scheme 8 months before, then when you think that it's better to start to look for a job in graduate scheme, like 2 years before graduation?
So in my case, say if you do a 3-year degree, I would say the first 2 years, I think you can just concentrate on it.
You're just meeting your friends.
Making friends, enjoying, because that's university life is also an experience, and not just applying for jobs, because you will always work later on. So it's good to enjoy the university life, being away from home. You learn so many different real life experiences, skills and stuff. So making friends and just having a good time, and studying as well. So after I would say in the 3rd year, when you
actually, like when you see the person with A grades in your CV and person with the B grades in CV and experience, what is the strongest point? To have like excellent grades, or to have B grades in experience? Or it's...
I think it's like, for me, I can only answer from, it all depends on employer to employer, and also I think generally progressive employers don't just look at one thing. Grad schemes work differently, because in graduate schemes, you have an academic requirement. So you just to apply, you need a 2-1 degree. Over here, you have a normal pass, or you have a 2-2, a 2-1, and a first, or a distinction. So most top graduate schemes, you need a 2-1 to apply. So you need to have that. Once you apply for that, then it's a question of, from your question, if I have a CV, would I pay weightage just education or things? I think most employers will look at the overall rounded skill set. So not just what you've done academically, but in terms of your work experience, in terms of other things. So on a CV, you have work experience, you have hobbies. So, and in the application, when you have to answer certain questions, that is when you pull out your experiences. And I think somebody who has a rounded experience, that is where, because when you start working, it's not just being bright on paper, it's having a personality, it's having those sort of skills, your interpersonal communication, work to deadlines, or work ethic, and these things are demonstrated to different areas. So I would suggest, it's not just your thing. So yes, it's good to study hard, but also being involved in activities and hobbies, and in universities you get a lot of opportunities to get involved in so many different areas, and I think all that really helps.
You receive like plenty of CVs, I suppose, and I'm just like, how to stand out from the crowd? How to write a CV that's like when HR reads it, he remembers you. Is there any CV that you can still remember?
Yeah, I think there are certain tips of which is generally known around the world for a good CV. But I think with CVs, it all depends on country to country. In America, they tend to do a 1-page CV. In the UK,
let's talk about
a 2-page CV. Standard.
In Russia, I think we make like 10 pages CV. Everything from like school, from the birth, we should put in our CV.
I think generally they would say a 2-page is good. What's key is to be clear, to be concise, because your CV generally, the first stage is screening, and then they will do a shortlist and then send it to the hiring manager, who will be the subject matter expert. But your first filter will be done by HR, and with graduate schemes or high volume roles, you get so many applicants that you don't have much time to screen. So you have to get somebody's attention in, I would say, the first 10-15 seconds in your CV. How do you do that? Make it clear, make it concise, use the correct font, use the correct font style, should not have any grammar mistakes, make it clear. Don't make it too wordy. Focus on your achievements, your skills, then just listing, if you've worked somewhere, then just listing what you do, what have you achieved. So it's those sort of things. So making sure that your skills, knowledge, experience, all those sort of sections are well thought through. And there are lots of templates. So prospects.ac.uk is a website for the graduates, the number one website. And they do a lot of templates, so you can go.
But do they look the same? Because if you use templates from CV, then probably you'll be like, I don't know.
I think templates more because it helps you to break. It helps you make it clear that this is education, this is work experience, this is hobbies.
Okay, so it's visually clever,
more visually clever. Because if you don't, So when somebody's reading, they understand what the person studies, what they're doing, what are their interests, what their hobbies, those sort of things. But yeah, making it very, I think, having like initially your career objective, what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve, making it concise, really selling yourself, and really asking yourself, what am I really good at? What do I need to? What are my unique selling points? How do I put that on the CV?
How many interviews yourself you had? So like when
to get a job where I was looking for, as a saying, I graduated in credit crunch. It took me 8 months to get.
8 months.
It took me 8 months, and you get a lot of rejection, and sometimes it really puts you down. But I think you just have to keep going. Perseverance, because ultimately you get, the more you apply, you get experience on how to write application. You get to go for an interview. You will know by always ask for feedback. Do you know where I'm going wrong, what I'm doing really well? So, and that's how it is. It's just so competitive out there just now that it's normal to get rejected, and it's very rare that you would get an interview straight away. So especially when you apply for really good employers, the standard is quite high. So you have to be prepared for that.
And so were you prepared to be rejected? Like,
yeah, you have to be prepared. It's in life. When you apply for something, you will always have an advert for the role. Reading it really well, and then generally every advert will have a role description which will go in the details of the duty responsibilities. It will then have a person specification in terms of what they look for, what are the essential criteria, so what you have to have this, what is desirable, understanding that, really understanding, then linking it to, okay, so they're looking for 4 or 5 things. Do I have those? Okay, if I have those, how do I tell them I've got those? You can't just say I've got good communication skills. What have you done which demonstrates you have good communication? Thinking on those, sort of preparing yourself through what are the key competencies in that job, thinking of examples of those, and then when you're going there, having the confidence, making the eye contact, body language, the tone, and generally the way you sort of meet and you greet and how you listen, all those things. The soft skills are very important when you get asked a question, understanding the question, answering the question, and they say there's like a technique called situation, task, action, result. It's called STAR. So you can answer any question with a STAR technique, and they say that. So say, for example, you ask me, give me an example of teamwork. So you can think of what the situation was, what I was asked to do, and they say your main focus of the answer should be on the action and the result. So what did you do? And use the word I, then we, because they want to know what you did as opposed to or other things. So, and then what did you learn, or what was the end result? So STAR technique, there's a lot of material on the web. If you start, so that's like a template to construct your answers. So yeah, research, and also I think picking up the phone, finding out who's in the role, selling yourself from before, calling them if you're not sure about something, calling them. I think sending an email to hiring managers before and you came across this role, had some more questions, shows your proactivity and enthusiasm. And also about the company, interviewing, not just them interviewing you, it's you interviewing them. Do you really want to work for them? How's the culture? Looking at their website. These days, the career website of employers are very, they're quite comprehensive. It tells you can watch videos of people. It already tells you what the company is known for, what their culture, those sort of things. And then you can use those things to ask yourself whether I'll enjoy, and if you will, then having those sort of, selling yourself.
What are the main mistakes that you see that are quite common in CVs when you receive CVs from many people? So yeah, what mistakes do they usually do?
Generally,
apart from grammar.
Yeah, so grammar is a good one. Sometimes it's not clear to me. Like they go in too much detail, and the detail will be just sticking the role description. So the role description is like the main duties, responsibilities, but I want to know, okay, so here's what the role is. What have you done? So maybe I would like to see a role summary. So here's what to do, here's what I achieved. So a lot of times formatting is not clear to me. That puts you off. But more than that, it comes down to the content. It's more like how do you demonstrate your key achievements, and is it clear to me what you study, what you've done in your previous roles? A lot of times it's not clear. They can be like, as you were saying, 10 pages. If you can't sell yourself concisely, that already is not a good skill, because you should be able to sell yourself. You don't need 10 pages. You can sell yourself more in the interview. So I think, yeah, keeping it clear, keeping it concise, using the correct font style is very important, structure, and also I think a focused CV is very important. So if you're applying for in a particular field, it should be focused, so that you should tell the employer through your CV why do you want that job in marketing. So a lot of CVs are very general. You think, oh, I can just apply for any job.
I just need a job.
You have to tailor the CV to the role you're applying for, and really selling yourself.
Is there any specific features, I would say, I would call it, for UK market? So like you told it, like in the US, like CV length is a bit different in comparison with the UK. Is there anything else that people who applies to UK should know?
In the UK, generally, we don't have employees. In the American universities, you have employees who come and then the employees will come and recruit on campus. We don't have that.
Okay.
In the UK, you have to apply for graduate schemes. It's all done on the web. It's all done online these days. So that's the key difference. CV is 2 pages. But in the UK, what's important is starting the process a year before.
What about people, if you're hiring people from not European Union, let's say China, Russia, India, like are there any restrictions on hiring people from non-EU?
Yes, it's not. It's more. I would say. So yes, you do have lots of roles which sponsor, but it's not so common because the way the immigration laws are that, well, every institute, whether in the private sector or public sector, they get certain visa a year, and they tend to allocate those depending on the complexity of the role, because for any role where somebody wants to sponsor, they have to go through a labour market test. So a labour market test, without getting into too much detail, you have to prove that there's nobody available from the European Union.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sam, for allocating us time and answering questions. And
It's a pleasure.
thank you. It's a pleasure for us to interview you. Thank you.
Ну вот интервью с Сэмом вы посмотрели, и надеюсь, что было интересно.
Например, было удивительно, что за 9 месяцев нужно подавать, перед окончанием университета, да, за 9 месяцев. То есть это такой большой продолжение. Но ты еще в это время обычно как студент еще о диссертации не очень-то думаешь. Ну, что там, я не знаю, курсовой, а не говоря уже о работе. То есть вот, да, с нашим менталитетом, наверное, нужно немножко переформатировать, да, свое поведение.
Вопрос планирования, и вот знаете, что нужно, в общем, всем заранее заниматься, а не в последнюю минуту перед экзаменом, как обычно.
Вот, да, спасибо вам, что смотрите.
Ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь. Для того, чтобы подписаться, нужно нажать на колокольчик. Вот. Ну и смотрите нас каждый понедельник, все как обычно.
Ну и опять же, задавайте темы, будем отвечать по мере возможности.
Все, пока-пока.
Пока-пока.